And it looks like we're live. Um, Sorry if you hear me if I sound a little off. Kind of have a little bit of a cold. But let's talk about basketball. Rough loss for the Jazz. This is the second time the Jazz met the Timberwolves, and they lost the last one as well, which is a bad look for the Jazz, who are trying to prove to the league that they're a championship contender, and then they keep losing to the worst team in the league. I don't know if record-wise they're the worst team in the league, but they're pretty far down there. Um, and I don't know. I feel like there's some interesting things, um, not necessarily that will impact the Jazz as how they'll play in the playoffs, but I feel like the Timberwolves are uniquely. How do I want to phrase this? They're probably the team that is built most perfectly to play the Jazz, which is annoying for the Jazz and not great for the Timberwolves because they're not built very well to play other teams. But if you think about it, they have a lot of pieces that the Jazz don't play great against. They have Karl Anthony Towns, obviously, where he's a good center, and there's not a ton of really good centers in the league. And so Gobert typically doesn't have a really great matchup. So that's a pretty good matchup. I wouldn't say I'd rather play Karl Anthony Towns than Embiid, but tough matchup there. And not only that he's a good center, but that he's a center who's one of the best 3-point shooting bigs ever. And so with that in mind, you can't put and the Jazz are a small team other than Gobert. So you can't put a smaller defender on Karl Anthony Towns because then he'll just go outside and score on them every time. But then if you put Gobert on him, he's just going to hang around the perimeter, and he's quicker, more athletic than Gobert, so he can either beat him on the drive or shoot over him, and it also takes Gobert out of the paint, which makes that a lot tougher. So just with him, that makes that tough. But then look at the other players. They have Anthony Edwards, who, unless you've been following the rookie race closely, I don't think he's been getting very much hype. And he's a very good player for a rookie. He's very athletic. He's I don't want to I feel like this is a little bit of a stretch of an exaggeration, but he's a little bit like Westbrook in the fact that he's very athletic. He knows how to get in the paint. He knows how to score in the paint, and he's an outside end kind of guy. Zion, and I don't want to say Zion either because he's not at that level either. But Zion is more of Zion will spend more time inside than Anthony Edwards, who will come from the outside in. And players like Westbrook have proven they kind of shut down Gobert. And then on top of that, other players, they have plenty of other athletic players on their team. They have Ricky Rubio, who's an excellent perimeter one-on-one defender. And they have D'Angelo Russell, who is a fantastic ISO scorer. And so that on top of Mitchell not being here, and last time we lost to the Wolves, Mitchell was there, but I think they're just built in a way that's a bad matchup all around, and that's what we have to deal with. We do get to play them again. Is it tomorrow or Monday? I forget when exactly. Next game, we're playing Timberwolves. So hopefully the Jazz can get some revenge there. But I'll go over this pretty quick. Forewarning, I'll probably end the stream a little early. As you can tell, I'm probably annoyed by my sniffling. Trying to keep it together for the stream, and my voice is a little off as well. But basically, what it comes down to, what I put in the pinned comment, is actually, I'll leave that for later, but Bojan played great. I'll throw that out. I'll talk more about that when I get over to the box score. For the team stats, the Jazz shot awesome from 3. They shot awful from everywhere else. Other than that, 2 key stats I want to bring up. One that kind of supports that is the points in the paint. The Timberwolves scored 56 points in the paint. compared to the Jazz scoring 26 points in the paint. I don't know what was going on there. I wouldn't blame it on the Timberwolves lockdown defense because I don't really think they have that. I think it's just the Jazz never gotten rhythm anywhere from the 3-point line. Whereas a team from the 3-point line, they shot just over 40%, which is awesome. I love that. They need to score from other places too, though. Yeah, the other stat I wanted to bring up is turnovers. I've been bringing this up a lot, but tonight was really bad. The Jazz gave up 20 turnovers. They forced 14, which is good. I hate giving up 20 turnovers, though. That's a lot of possessions you're giving up. So those are the stats that I'm worried about. Other thing I'm worried about is that the Jazz had a decent lead and they gave it up. They started off really great and then they slowly gave it up and then just gave up the game. I'll go over the box score real quick. The Timberwolves had 3 players who played awesome. Anthony Edwards, 23 points, 5 steals, 4 assists, 9 rebounds. That's a stat line that you don't expect from a rookie. That's awesome. Good for him. He wrecked the Jazz. The Jazz need to work on that. Karl Anthony Towns, he gave his team 24 points, a block, 3 assists, and 12 rebounds. And then D'Angelo Russell, he didn't really give much of other stats, but I believe he's kind of like their 6th man. He plays more minutes than Rubio, but Rubio starts. But he came off the bench tonight, scored 23. The Timberwolves didn't really get a ton of production from anyone else. But those 3, I talked about them earlier. They're 3 of the big players why the Jazz have a tough time playing this team. Luckily, the Jazz don't have to play them in the playoffs, so I guess I'd rather, if there's one team that is built to beat the Jazz, I'm glad it's a non-playoff team. I'll just say that. Looking at the Jazz play their 9-man rotation, pretty typical 9-man rotation when Mitchell's out. Bojan played awesome. He gave us 30 points and his shooting efficiency was awesome. He shot 7 for 13 from the 3, 11 for 20 from the field. That's what I want to see from Bojan. He might not get that many shots when Mitchell comes back, but if he can shoot like 8 for 15 from the field and I don't know, what would he like 4 for 8 from the 3 most nights, that's exactly what I want from him. No one else really played great. Conley did okay. He wasn't efficient. He was about 33%. He gave the team 18 points. Joe Ingles couldn't hit a shot. Well, he hit 1 shot, and that's all he could hit. Clarkson had some good shots, typically not efficient. Typical Clarkson. So it's just no one was really in rhythm tonight. Just kind of scanning down the field goal percentage for everyone. It was really low except for Bojan. Bojan's the one who kept them in it, which is awesome for Bojan, but obviously Bojan's not that kind of guy who's going to carry you through a close game in the 4th quarter if he's not getting at least a little bit of help. Rudy, he got 6 shots, hit 3 of them. I'd like to see him get more shots. He looked a little aggressive at the beginning and then backed off. Maybe he was I don't know if he was getting tired or from Garden Cat or what was going on there. He did have 17 rebounds, which is good for him. He got a block. I want to see more of that. But yeah, that's kind of my take on it. I'll answer these 2 comments real quick and then I'll head out because I don't want to sit here for 30 minutes sniffling into a microphone. So sorry about that if that's kind of annoying on your end. But Carter said, Towns is a very bad matchup for us, especially when Gobert is off the floor. Yeah, like I feel like it's a bad matchup even when Gobert is on the floor. But and also, guys, sorry I didn't get a Saturday video out. As you probably know, Nate's out of town right now. I was supposed to get one out, but I didn't. That's on me. It's just that time of the semester where I was planning on getting one done started working on homework, and then all of a sudden, like 5 hours passed, and I don't know, crazy day. So sorry about that. Glad I'm here now, and I'll be here for the next Timberwolves game as well. But back to the Towns matchup thing. Nate and I, we were talking in a video a little bit ago. What was it? Oh, about how the Jazz are just a really undersized team. We have Gobert, and Favors is even a little undersized because we're playing him at center. He's more of a power forward size. And so it's just like playing against players like Towns where he can beat you anywhere on the court. He can shoot. He's quick for his size. He's also big, so he can take you down in the paint. He's honestly, if we could force him to score on us in the paint, that would be the best because he's not a great paint scorer. But if you're putting like with our starting lineup, if you don't have Gobert on him, the next defender that you put on him is Bojan. And even with like Karl Anthony Towns not being a good post-up player on offense, he can post up Bojan every single possession. He'll score on 80% of them just because of the size difference. So that kind of player is a tough matchup. That's why I'm scared of playing teams like the Nuggets with Jokic and Philly with Embiid, and when the Lakers are healthy with Anthony Davis. And I don't know, maybe, as this probably will sound crazy to anyone outside of the Jazz community, but maybe that little thing of as long as we don't have to play a center who can shoot, we're doing pretty good. Maybe if the Jazz make it to the finals and play the Nets, that will give the Jazz a little bit of an edge there. Just a little bit, because and you'll take any edge you can when you're playing a healthy Kyrie, Harden, and KD. So yeah. Troy says Joe Clarkson and Rudy seemed really off tonight. Yeah. Clarkson didn't seem terribly aggressive. How many shots did he take? He took 16, so maybe that was just a wrong perception of me. Rudy definitely seemed off. I feel like Rudy seemed off after the first few minutes because he seemed fine for most of the first quarter, at least from what I was seeing. Also, one little note is Conley. So that play right towards the end, when Conley missed a three, we got the offensive rebound, kicked it back out to Conley, and then he missed another three. After that, Conley was afraid to shoot. And I almost wonder if because Conley had better shots than the people who were taking some of these shots down the stretch after that play. So I wonder if Conley just had the confidence to take these shots. Maybe it would have turned out differently. So that's something I want to see from really all Jazz players, that if you have a good shot, but you miss the last two, but you have a good shot and that's the best shot, take it. And if they airball it, I don't know, I'll live with that opportunity unless it's Mitchell. If you have the best shot, but then you don't think you'll make it and Mitchell's on the floor, then you get it to Mitchell. But in this case, Mitchell wasn't there, so that doesn't apply. But yeah, Troy, I agree with the Joe and Rudy seemed off. I feel like a lot of other players seemed off as well. Will says, I just don't know how we lost to this team twice on our home court. I think they're just built to beat the Jazz, which is annoying, but I think that's how it is. And then Garrett says, what do you think our problem was in defense? I don't know, like, players seemed off, so I'm sure there's something there. Honestly, I think it's just the Jazz don't have an answer for a player like Edwards, especially when there's a player like Towns on the floor. Because Gobert isn't great against super athletic guards who know how to finish inside, because they're quick, they're explosive. Like he doesn't do great against Westbrook either. So Edwards just knows how to make that work. And Edwards had a great night tonight. And then on top of that, Towns was playing. How many threes did Towns hit? Towns was 2 for 7 from three. So he took 7, which That's quite a bit, which probably means that he was forcing Gobert out a little more often, even if he wasn't taking them every possession. So I think the main problem was just how the team is built. Gobert couldn't be as effective as he normally would be. And then even if he could be as effective as he normally would be, Edwards would still probably have had a decent game. And so I don't know if there's much Gobert can do. I think it's just our perimeter defense needs to improve, especially when we play players like that. We can't let them get full speed to the rim, because then at that point it's really tough for Rudy to do much. So I'm just going to say it's like we need to work on stopping drives, or at least getting drives to slow down so that when they get to the rim, it's something Rudy can deal with. That would be my analysis. So yeah, I went a little bit longer than I wanted to. Sorry about the cold. Hopefully it wasn't annoying on your end through the microphone, but I'll cut it off now because I don't want to go too much longer with all this. Tough loss. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're a Jazz fan. And after the next game, which we will be playing the Timberwolves next, make sure you tune in. I'll be handling that. Hopefully it's a win that we can analyze how the Jazz changed their strategy after this loss. But thanks for being here tonight, guys. Sorry for cutting it a little short. But yeah, if you're not subscribed and you want to make sure you hit that, you want to see that live stream next time for the post game, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified as soon as I go live, and you can hop on early and we can have a fun conversation next time. So thanks for joining me. Have a good night, guys.